All right, my friends, welcome to another episode of Alan K Show. And today we have a very special guest. He's coming to us from Southeast Valley in the city of Gilbert. He's an agent, almost like a brand new agent, newish agent, if you will. He's been in business for a little bit over a year, closed 22 transactions, and he's got, 5 deals in escrow right now?
5 in escrow currently.
5 deals in escrow right now. He's coming, his background, he's going to share this with you guys. Very fascinating. From a pipe fitter to becoming a real estate agent, right? And we got Michael Wakefield in our studio today.
Great to be here.
What's up, buddy?
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, my pleasure. All right, so for our audience, and primarily most of our audience are broker owners, team owners, as well as real estate agents, right? As well as entrepreneurs. But for the most part, it's a real estate industry specific. Can I tell the audience what you've been up to, what you've been doing, and how did you get into the real estate in the first place?
Yeah. So my intro to real estate came from my wife, actually. She's been an agent for going on 7 years. And as I got frustrated with pipe fitting a little bit, she said, hey, why don't you come help me do this? And we can do it full time. So I got my license 2.5 years ago. The first year I really was just a door opener for my wife. When she couldn't make it, I'd go open the doors, but wasn't really pursuing any of the business of it. And then finally got fed up enough at work, and she said, let's just make the jump and do this full time. And so July 4th of last year, I quit and started doing this full time.
Oh, perfect timing, 2023.
Yep, 2023, when the market was fantastic.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, question for you: what is a job description of a pipe fitter?
Pipe fitter.
Yeah. What do you actually do?
Yeah. So if you think of plumbing, it's similar to that. It's all pipe. Difference being pipe fitters don't do domestic water, so like drinking water, and we don't do drainage systems for sewer. Okay. But in the valley, we do a lot of chilled water systems that all these big buildings will use to keep the building hot or cold. We also do a ton of work in semiconductors for all of the very dangerous gases and chemicals that they use to make those computer chips. So a lot of high purity type process piping. Nuclear plants, stuff like that.
Really?
Power plants. Yeah, so it's very industrial, commercial piping applications is what it is. So we weld the pipe, cut the pipe, whatever you need to do to put the pipe together. Glue the pipe if it's PVC. So all different types of pipes. We do all of them, and make sure that the buildings are functioning the way they need to. Install pumps, all of that stuff.
Got it. So you got your license a little bit over 2 years ago.
Yep.
And for the first, let's say 8 or 9 months, you were just helping out your wife as a door opener.
I was just opening doors.
Opening doors. Okay. What finally made you to say, you know what, it's time to do this like full time?
Yeah. So I had become a superintendent in the pipe fitting world, so I was really managing projects more than actually building the projects.
Yep.
And I think right before I left, I had about 30 guys and managing about $10 million in projects.
Yeah.
And it just really wasn't fun anymore. I really liked being hands-on and being the guy to build stuff and not so much the guy to manage it. And so it was just like, I'm a little frustrated right now, not super happy every day when I wake up and go to work, so let's do something different. And another part of that was some of our family goals with our kids getting older, and we were wanting to be able to homeschool, and being at work 60, 70 hours a week wasn't really going to be conducive to us homeschooling together. So that was another factor in jumping ship and trying something new.
Here, real quick, if you're a licensed real estate agent in the state of Arizona, I want to talk to you about my brokerage, Best Homes Real Estate. Best Homes Real Estate is looking to partner with agents that are looking for better support, better tools, better resources in growing their business. If that sounds like you at all, here's what I would like you to do. All right, click on the link below, book a call with me, and I'll share with you exactly what does it look like to work with us and partner with us. Talk to you soon. Now back to the show. So how many kids do you have?
We have 3.
3 kids.
3 kids, yep.
How many boys, how many girls?
1 boy, 2 girls.
Oh, same thing.
Cool.
Yeah, awesome. What are the ages?
My oldest is the boy. He's 6. He turned 6 actually 2 days ago, day before Halloween. And then we have a 3-year-old girl and a 7-month-old girl.
Oh, so you're much younger. Okay. So my oldest one, she's 17. My middle one, who's a boy, Zach, he's 14. And then another girl, age 13. So, so 17, 14, and 13.
Yeah. You're kind of on the tail end of them being at home, and we're in the very early stages of that.
Right.
Yep.
So one of the main reasons that this way you have the flexibility to spend more time with your kids.
Certainly. Way more flexible schedule
more
than
flexible.
what I had.
And your wife is still doing real estate as well?
Yeah, she is.
Okay.
Yep.
So you guys are kind of like running like a team, essentially.
Yeah, we're on a team, but we have our own little team as well.
Oh, you're on a team?
We are on a team. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
And she's done, I think this year, she's on top of having a baby this year, I think she's done 6 or 7 transactions, so she's still staying pretty busy. Yeah, herself. Wow. Yeah. That I'm not on those ones. Those are just hers.
Wow.
Yep.
So you're technically like a power couple if you think about it. I mean, she's doing 6 transactions, and you're already done 12 transactions.
We're hustling to become that. Yeah.
All right, well, let's talk about that. Obviously, I remember those days when I had 3 kids under age of 5. You have 3 kids under age of 6.
Yep.
Right, and you're homeschooling on top of that. Our kids used to go to daycare. But my wife, she's been working all this time. She still works. Yeah. Right. So how are you guys managing the overall
I wish we could say process. We're doing really well at it, but it's a constant experiment at this point as to what's going to work best. But really, we need to be better about our time and blocking out. This is strict family time. We're not going to take any phone calls. They can wait, an hour or 2 hours or whatever it needs to be. But I think that's where we're heading, and we keep trying to figure out what time blocks work best for family time and what time blocks work best for business time, and then when can we fit in some fun in there too. But really, I think time blocking is probably the only way to really do that, and we have to be strict about those times. But it is an experiment right now as to what part of the day works best for what activities, for sure. So
if let's say we look at your day, what would that look like? Like what time do you wake up? How much time are you spending in real estate during the day? Versus family.
So I'm usually up at 6. That's pretty typical. Up at 6. Kids sleep in, so I get a couple hours of quiet in the morning typically, or at least an hour, I would say, of quiet. And then we have a meeting at 9 with our team on Zoom because half of our team's in Tucson. So we do a Zoom every morning at 9, catch up with the team. So usually between 6 and 9, I'll try to catch up on some of the transactional stuff that needs to get done. Sending emails, getting DocuSigns taken care of, that sort of thing. That way, by the time the 9 o'clock meeting's over, which is usually between 9:30 and 10, then we can do some more family stuff, get some homeschool work going for a couple hours. My son does karate a couple times a week in the morning too at 11, so that 10 to 11 and noon time frame works pretty good for getting some family stuff done that we need to. And then usually by 1 to 2, it's out showing houses.
Okay, so from 1 to 2 up to about 4 or 5 or so.
Yeah, 4 or 5
is
pretty
houses.
typical. Yeah.
How do you? Well, 2 things. What do you guys talk about during your team meetings? It looks like it's a daily thing. I'm assuming 5 days a week, right?
Yeah, 5 days a week.
So what kind of what is the?
So we talk a lot about the market and what we're seeing going on, every day. So it's nice to get input from all these different agents, not only in Phoenix but also in Tucson, and collaborate, and just it's a good way to stay up to date on what's really going on out there. And then we go through transactions that everyone's got. If you've got any problems on this transaction, how has someone solved it in the past? What could you do to get through it? So a lot of real world practical application stuff of what there's. I think 32 of us on the team between Phoenix and Tucson. So usually someone's got a problem that needs solving. And then we'll go through our standings on the lead flow and stuff and how we're managing our CRM, make sure everything's staying in the right category as we've talked to them or showing houses or whatever whatever it is. So there's a lot of accountability on managing that CRM is a lot of the meeting.
And what do you guys use as a CRM? Right?
We use Sync right now.
Oh, Commission Sync. Okay,
Yep.
cool.
And then we're on Zillow Flex as well. So we have the Zillow Premier Agent CRM as well.
Got it.
And they can integrate, but sometimes it's not always easy to integrate the two. But they can.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, take care of the emails, kind of like a to-do list of things for the morning before 9 o'clock. Then from 9 to 12, family time, homeschooling, taking your kids out. From 1 o'clock on, your real estate, more specific. In terms of like marketing and lead gen, when are you doing that?
So a lot of our marketing right now is just farming our individual neighborhood. So we've been hosting monthly events in the neighborhood, movie nights. We did a pickleball tournament, snow cone cart, just things like that. And so a lot of our marketing right now is directed at getting those events planned and putting that on for the community.
And you do them on a monthly basis, right?
We didn't really do much during the summer just because it got so hot that no one was coming out. But once we hit this time of year, we'll do a monthly event. And that's actually, we'll do family photos too. We'll host for the neighborhood to come get your family photos taken. That's been our most beneficial one to date that we did last year, and that turned into 2 transactions this year from that one event. So that was great. Yeah,
wow, that's awesome. And how many people live in your neighborhood? How many?
There's 2,200 homes in our
2,200 homes. Yep. Okay, and you guys looking to basically, dominate that neighborhood eventually.
Yeah,
right?
That's the idea eventually.
Yeah. How long have you been working in that neighborhood?
Really, we started the events monthly last year. But my wife's lived in the neighborhood since '94, and so she's kind of a staple. So she's always had transactions just from her sphere in the neighborhood. So we're just trying to expand on that, really. I've been in the neighborhood since 2004, so even I've been there for quite a while.
Yeah.
And my wife's literally her entire family lives in the neighborhood as well. So we've got her parents actually. We just sold their big home on the water. They bought a house next door to us, so her parents live next door, and then her 3 brothers and her grandparents all also live in the neighborhood. So we've got a bit of family influence in the hood.
Well, it's also lots of support.
It is,
especially when you have little kiddos running around. Okay, awesome, very good. So you're doing these events pretty much on a monthly basis, aside from the summer months. Summer months is tough, right?
Yeah.
So 1 month it's a movie night. 1 month it's a picture day. 1 month is something else, right? In addition to those events, are you doing anything else? Are you sending out any flyers, postcards?
We don't really do much flyers.
No.
I've done a couple of them. Sent out actually the one flyers we did send out the most were a homebuyer seminar that I put on with a lender, and we targeted rentals in the neighborhood. So that's probably the biggest flyer campaign that I've done. I haven't really done much since then. And then we try to stay up on our social media. That's probably the hardest to stay up to date on that with making reels and stuff on Instagram and doing more than just sold or whatever, but actually putting out some videos explaining how the process works or something educational, which I think is really helpful. So trying to do a lot of the social media stuff too is probably the other biggest part of our marketing.
Hey, real quick, if you're a broker owner or a team owner and looking to grow and scale your business by bringing in more agents, i.e. recruiting more agents to your organization, I got to tell you about Modern Day Brokerage. Modern Day Brokerage is something that I started about 2 years ago with my partner, Tristan Horn, and we're currently working with 120 clients. These are broker owners. Some of them are team owners as well, where on average with our services, they hire 4 to 5 agents every single month. So if you, again, a business owner, a broker owner, or a team owner that is serious about growing your business by predictable agent attraction and recruiting methods, you can book a call with us by clicking on the link below for a free private business consultation meeting with me or one of my team members. Talk to you then. Back to the show. Interesting. Okay, so not really that much in terms of the print media, right?
No, not much at all.
Do you have like a on social media on Facebook? Do you have a group like for your neighborhood, like living, let's say.
There are several groups. We don't have one that we specifically control. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think we were a little late in the game, and there's probably 4 or 5 other agents that have those groups in the neighborhood already.
Really?
Yeah, it's a rather competitive neighborhood, but we have a pretty good name out there, so I think we'll do well.
Got it. I love it. Very good. So, if you look at your past transactions, and I know you've been doing this for like full time for about a year or so, right?
Yeah.
Like what would be your top 2 or top 3 lead sources for those transactions?
Right now is Zillow.
Zillow.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep. My wife has a big sphere, so she's not all of her transactions are Zillow, but a large majority of mine right now are Zillow. Yep.
Right, and Zillow, that's a referral program that they offer.
Is.
I think they take 35 or 40% or something like that.
Yeah, it's 40%.
It's 40% now?
Depending on purchase price. Yeah, so if you're under 300, it's 30, but once you get above that 300 mark, it goes to 40.
Got it.
Yep.
And majority of them are buyers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our Tucson team gets seller leads, but we don't get the seller leads in Phoenix.
Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah. Okay, got it. So most of your business coming from Zillow.
Mm-hmm. Right now. Yeah, right. I'd say in the last 4 months, I've seen a transition away from Zillow. So I've got actually 4 listings right now, and none of them were Zillow. So we're kind of in that range where things are starting to happen outside of Zillow.
Got it. So really generating your own business versus relying on the Zillow
leading
business
on those referrals,
or the team business.
Yeah. But those were great when I just pulled the plug last year and left a paycheck behind. And
sure, you have
it was a really great supplement.
Yeah.
A really great filler. But yeah, I'm finally starting to see the transition away from that. But it's still. I've averaged a transaction a month through Zillow over the last year, so it's a great filler.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's the way I look at it, right? Especially as a new agent, I think being part of a team, the right team.
Yeah.
There are teams out there, unfortunately, may not be the best.
Certainly.
Environment for the new agent. But if you get the right team with the right mentorship in place, where you have the team owner who's investing in the agent, right? Education wise, accountability wise, leads. I think for a brand new agent, the odds of them succeeding in this business are much higher being part of that team versus doing this on their own.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Right?
I mean, you get out of real estate school, you don't really know
there's not
how to sell real estate.
No,
right?
there's not that much. It's
all, besides the legality stuff, that's really all you get out of school. So there's no, this is how you actually conduct business. You got to figure that all out after the fact.
For sure.
So I think being on a team that's going to offer you those things is important for the first while. Hopefully not forever, but definitely to get started, it's a good thing. It can be a good thing. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And I think that in your situation, I like the fact that you were able to transition so quickly. From working full time in a completely different industry. You were not in sales.
No,
you were
not in sales
education,
at all. No.
None of that stuff. And getting into the real estate sales, and now you got 5 deals in escrow.
Yeah.
What is the plan for you? Let's say you and I having this conversation.
Yeah.
Short term wise, 12 months down the road, and ultimately 5 years down the road.
Yeah. I know my wife and I would eventually like to have our own brokerage.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know that we necessarily want to build it into something huge. I think even if it was just the 2 of us and maybe a couple agents would be great. Our biggest goals are really just to have the time freedom and be able to do the stuff that we want to do with the family. It's probably terrible for me to say as an entrepreneur that I don't have the highest aspirations, but really, if we can provide for the family and do the stuff that we like to do together as a family and have the time to do it, at the end of the day, that's kind of the goal.
Yeah. And what do you like to do for fun?
Yeah, we really like to be outside as much as we can, which is tough here in the summers when it's so hot. But we do have a place up in Overgard that we bought during COVID, so that's our little escape. We can be up in the pine trees in a couple hours. We've got 4-wheelers and mini bikes and all kinds of stuff to get in trouble on with the kids, and they love going up there and actually dread coming back down whenever we come back down here. Yeah, they want to stay there all the time.
Wow.
So that's probably our most fun like family escape that we have right now. But Kara's my wife. We're both huge into being on the lake. So we've had a boat the majority of our marriage. I think I can still say that. We don't currently have a boat, but I think majority we've still always had a boat during our marriage. So there's another one in our future someday, just not currently. But yeah, we love being on the water.
That's impressive. That's awesome, man. I mean, yeah. I mean, what's the whole point of building a business if you don't enjoy?
Get to enjoy it. Yeah.
You know, that's the thing,
right?
And I like the fact that you're dedicating 2 to 3 hours in the morning for your kids.
Yeah.
You know, versus like going out there and doing business stuff and everything like that. You know, and then by the time you get home, you don't have the energy. Right. Or the focus to really, concentrating on the kids.
Involved. Yeah. And that was kind of what I was seeing when I was working in the trade, and we'd work, most of the time it was 10-hour days, so I'd be at work for 10 hours and then come home and it's like, I'm really happy to see you, but I don't have much left in my tank for you, and they don't understand that. And how do you can't tell them that. So it was becoming a point of contention, really just an internal battle with myself of how do I do what I want to do with them while still having the energy to perform well at work and such, which is probably a battle that a lot of people have.
Yeah. So if, let's say, for example, you're talking to, someone who's brand new to the business, or maybe been in business for some time and maybe they're just lacking the consistency or not closing deals, right? What would you say to them? What would be your words of advice or wisdom?
Yeah. I guess probably the biggest thing that I learned really quickly was that even though I didn't know all the answers, I had to be confident when speaking to clients. So even if I didn't know, I had to just kind of fake it till I make it, which sounds terrible, but it's really, it's kind of true. And not be afraid to ask questions or not be afraid to tell them, hey, I don't know the answer to that, but you know what? I'm going to find the answer for you and then go put the work in and find the answer. And I think that's the other point, is that it's not a get rich quick kind of thing. It's a lot of work. I don't think I work any less now than I did when I was working in the trades, working 60, 70 hours a week. I just have a little more time freedom to fit things in when I want to, not when the schedule's telling me I have to be at work.
Yeah.
But I don't think I work any less. So it's still just work and grind and putting time into it and putting yourself out there. And as people see you put yourself out there and that you're working at it, then they'll want to work with you. This is kind of what I've seen. So
I love it. Awesome, man. All right. Anything I should have asked you that I didn't?
Oh, man, that's a great question. No, I don't think so. I think we kind of covered my background and where we're heading. So yeah,
love it.
It was good.
All right, Michael. Well, listen, enjoyed our conversation.
Yes, thank you.
Continue more success. And hopefully next time around, I'll get to meet Kara as well, right? Your wife, and we can
get
do it
Kara
together.
Down here. We may have to bring the baby in, but we'll get both of us down
here. That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. All right, man. Great to see you.
Sounds great. Yeah,
right.
You as well. Thank you.
Take care, guys. Hey, thanks for listening to our conversation. I hope you like it. Now, if you want to see more of the same type of content on your feed, here's what you got to do. Hit subscribe or hit like, and hopefully I'll see you again in the future.